Senior Report thanks Edmund Besch of Bristol Burgess Insurance Agency, 65 East Main Street, Westfield, for his generous grant to provide news to seniors. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Funding for Senior Report is provided in part by a grant from Andrew Goodell, Assemblyman for the 150th District of the New York State Assembly. Dave Cass and Rick Newell provide funding on behalf of the Lakeview Hotel and Restaurant at the Docks, located on Water Street near the lake in Mayville. Senior Report with Reed Powers thanks Westfield's Schultz Chevy for a generous grant to inform seniors of important news. Over 50 years of service to Westfield by Chevrolet, Schultz Chevy across from the school. The physicians of Jamestown Primary Care are happy to sponsor the Senior Report. From the Access Channel 5 television studio in Mayville, it's Senior Report with Reed Powers. Senior Report is broadcast live throughout northern Chautauqua County on Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. each week. Call in and share a thought, make a comment, ask a question, or simply wish someone a happy birthday on Chautauqua County's only live call-in senior program. Since 1995, Reed has been bringing viewers hundreds of interesting guests, informing the community on a variety of subjects. Here's the host of the show, Reed Powers.
And hello. Surprise. I want to thank everybody who sent in comments about gun control last week. We had quite a lot, and anybody today who wishes to comment on gun control. And the slippery New York State legislature we have, which is dominated by downstaters, which has a new way of doing business now. Late at night, they are given a bill. The legislature, both the Senate and the Assembly, are given a bill that's piled this high, 40 some odd pages, and within a couple hours they have to vote on it. No committee meetings. Usually the committee goes through it and sifts it and discusses it, and no public time, public comment, nothing. These are all this is part of running a bill in New York State. There's a 3-day period even after the bill is passed. That was canceled by Cuomo. So in the middle of the night, everybody got this bill. They had to sit down and vote on it immediately, and it's the midnight vote, and I'm telling you, it's incredible. They took away a great percentage of our national constitutional Second Amendment rights with this bill. They broke the contract of the state of New York for how to pass a bill, and fortunately, everybody in the world is going to sue the state for this now. They say Cuomo did it all himself pretty much, and he did it because he's aspiring to be the president of the United States. So he wanted the toughest gun bill laws we have. We already have the toughest gun laws. You ever hear of the Sullivan Act? In New York State, if you want to own a pistol, you literally have to move heaven and earth to carry an arm. Here's some of the things you now face, guys, under this Cuomo's bill. Assault weapons are being restricted. Now, there's no question, there's no exactly definition of assault weapons, excepting there are semi-automatics now. Well, most of our guns are semi-automatic. They can take them as assault weapons, I assume. There's no definition, excepting it can't have a stick on it anymore, and it can't have a flash suppressor or 2 or 3 other things. They've taken all these things away. Everything's an assault weapon now. If you have unsafe storage of your assault weapon, it's a crime. Well, what is safe storage? They don't tell you that. Police registry of all assault weapons, whatever they define assault weapon. Ban the internet sale. Restrict ammunition Magazines, it doesn't say clips, magazines. That's my 22 that has a magazine on it. 7 shots. Otherwise, you go to the pokey. And you have a year to sell it. Out of state, of course. You can't sell it in New York State. It's illegal. You'd have a crime if you have a magazine. Someone caught with 8 or more bullets in a magazine could face a misdemeanor charge. Okay? Stolen guns must be reported within 24 hours, otherwise off to the pokey. It's a crime. Increase gun sentences, violations for all of these things. Make them tougher. Pistol permit holders, or those who would be owners of, quote, assault weapons, will be recertified every 5 years to make sure you're legally able to own guns. It goes on and on, friends. I won't bore you to death with this. They passed this in the middle of the night. A big stack of the bill came to their table. 2 hours later, 3 hours later, they had to vote on it. And it was carried heavily with the support of downstaters. You know, the New York metropolitan area and Long Island, they're a different world from us up here. We have owned our guns all our lives. We all own guns, or not all of us, but most of us do. And we've hunted and we've learned safety, and nobody's been shot or killed up here with with our guns. Down on the island, or down in New York, they kill each other right and left, the gangs. Drug wars, you know. Since we're winning the war on drugs, this will stop. Great guest here. On the bright side, we have one of our beautiful ladies in Chautauqua County. She has the toughest job on earth. They tell me that Department of Social Services, which is now Humane Services, it's health and social services per se combined, and she is doing a whopping job, has the biggest budget in Chautauqua County, and probably the most complicated system of business in Chautauqua County. Christine is probably, I don't know, you've been about 1.5 years, right, doing this?
1.5 years for both departments, 4.5 with health.
Christine Schuyler. She's doing the job, and I thank you for coming aboard and giving the public an opportunity to ask questions and to find out what really goes on deep within the tombs of the Chautauqua County government. Okay, here we go. We're doing away today because we have so much to talk about, and also I did want to get in the new restrictions that were passed with the midnight vote without any comment from the public. That was all taken away. No debate going through the various committees. No, that's gone. Cuomo just rushed this through and took away a lot of your Second Amendment rights. Don't let them get away with it. Contact Kathy Young. Contact Mr. Goodell, and for their credit, I want you to know, they voted against this bill, this onerous bill, both of them. Andy Goodell said, no way. Kathy Young said, no way. And they've got to repeal this or it's going to court all over the place because it's a major violation of federal law and state law. We'll see what happens, friends. I'll keep you posted. In the meantime, I have a public service announcement for you. And then we'll hear from Doc, and incidentally, Doc shoots from the hip. Here you go, public service announcement just for you. Yeah, you can come over now. You're on after Doc.
Hi. It was fine. Just got here. They seem nice. It's pretty good. Yeah. I'm excited. Miss you too, Mom.
And there you go, friends. Here he is, Doc Hamels. You're on.
Good morning, Reed. Good morning, Christine.
Good morning.
Well, good to see you again. It's been a while. Good morning, folks. Well, Reed, it was quite a night last night. If you didn't have a chance to come down to Infinity, we had, I think, the first hootenanny in 50 years in Chautauqua County. Someone's going to call and says, that's not true. It was 149 years ago. I don't know. But all I know is that people that were there just had a wonderful time. And basically what we were doing is Bill Drell and myself, we hosted a get-together of young musicians and older musicians and veteran musicians, and there was probably another 40 people that sat all around us, and we were singing Woody Guthrie songs, Kingston Trio, remember Lead Belly, and all those groups. And I wanted to, I don't have a picture of last night, but I have something else, Reed, that's really, really cool. While I was playing, here we go. Let's see. Someone did a quick sketch of me playing at the Hootenanny. Isn't that cool?
That
I was
is
one
cool.
of the young artists. And the nice things about the about Infinity, folks, is that it not only is about music, but it's about theater, art, things like the fine arts of artwork and so forth. And
Where is it again?
it's down on 3rd Street, right across from the Reginald Lennay Theater, the Infinity program. Just awesome.
What town?
Jamestown.
Jamestown.
Yeah, I get around. I get out of Ripley
get
once
out
in a
of
while. All right. Well, that was kind of like the fun stuff. Tonight we'll be playing over at the Corner Coffee House and Bistro in Frewsburg. I mentioned that once in a while from 6 to 8. We're going to be doing Irish music tonight, so come out there. They have lots of music throughout the week, so it's really kind of an upcoming music place in the county. All right, now for the serious stuff. All right, here we go, Reed.
Okay, let's go.
Here we go. All right. As you all know, something's been going on in the state. Forget about the gun stuff. Oh, I know. I forgot to tell you. I applied yesterday. I got for a new job. I'm going to be one of the guys that goes around and counts the bullets in your magazine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an official magazine counter.
Well, that's terrific. And
Yeah,
then,
if you go over 7, I write you a little fine and that sort of thing.
Oh, you'd go to jail.
No, you would go to jail. I would.
You could send us to jail.
I'd send you to jail. So, anyways, that's a new position I'm looking towards. Okay. Sorry, I had to do that one. Anyways, what's been going on in this state for the last 2 or 3 years, maybe longer, is that Cuomo and the Senate and the Congress, Assembly, I'll get it right, put on this 2% cap, okay? And what that's basically done is been pushing down the budgets at every level, all right? And it's been forcing schools and fire districts, small towns, villages, cities, that use up a lot of their surplus money and reserves. And here's a prediction, okay? As
You heard this first?
You heard it first here.
On Senior Report.
Senior Report. As we go along, it's going to begin to force the action that they encouraged 20 years ago, shared services, mergers, annexations, and I don't care what it is, small towns, police departments, and schools and so forth, but you're going to see this. It's sort of like forcing it from the inside out rather than people actively volunteering to do this. And why I bring this up is my home school district of Ripley is facing a big decision on February 5. And what they have to do is they have to react to a petition that was brought to the school board by a number of parents to tuition the grades 7 through 12 to another school. And in this case, they're thinking about Chautauqua Lake, the district we're sitting in right now. And this is almost like the last-ditch effort that the school has to try to get out from under all this financial pressure, because what's happening, you got declining enrollment in all our schools, we have declining state aid, and you got a state cap on all these things, plus all your rising costs. Ripley wasn't one of them, but I understand in an article in the newspaper, 5 districts right now are within 2 years of being bankrupt, losing all their reserves. So what I'm getting at is Ripley is sort of setting the pace for things to come, whether it's municipalities or other school districts, where they are going to have to force themselves to look at some very serious changes, a way of doing business, whether it's education, government, or providing services to the community. So there'll be a vote, and I would encourage people, one way or the other, just like when I was superintendent there or school board president, come out and vote. Don't just sit back, and that goes for anything else in this county. So with that, just keep an eye on this, Reed. I think we're going to see a lot more of this sort of thing. Back to you.
More power to you. You were superintendent and the president of the school board at the same time, weren't you?
No, that's illegal. No. I didn't hire myself. I was a school board member there 16 years, and I was board president 10, and I was superintendent for 5.
Okay, well,
Not congruently.
you put in your time, and even
Oh, yeah.
Chris knew who you were before you even walked in.
All right.
He gets around. John
Thank
Hamill's
you.
doing the job. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
We have with us a guest. I'm sure she's wondering if she's ever going to get on the air, but you will be on the air in just a few seconds. I wanted to thank you for showing up and providing us the opportunity to chat with you, Christine. And Christine Schuyler has been the hardworking member, the director of the Humane Services of Chautauqua County, which means they've combined apparently welfare, as we use it, actually that's service, the welfare service sneering term, but that's the one most people use. And the health services, which are very important. And you have the highest budget. You have half the budget of the Chautauqua County in your office, in your file. Where'd you come from?
Where did I come from? Well, I came from Corey, Pennsylvania originally.
Corey, okay. So that's
Born and raised.
That's almost Chautauqua County, right?
It is almost. I then became a nurse. I went to school out in Erie, worked for many years as a nurse.
What school in Erie?
Villa Maria College at the time, which became Gannon University.
Okay,
my
very well
degree
known
from.
and very, very good university.
Yep, I spent quite a few years at St. Vincent Health Center. Then I took a stint in pharmaceutical sales for about 5 years, and then ended up back at St. Vincent. And Reed, you're familiar with Stu Williams, who was a former CEO of Westfield Hospital.
Right.
And he actually gave me a chance in healthcare administration. I had finished my master's in healthcare administration, and he took me on at Westfield. And I helped at that time, and 6 months after getting there, the Burger Commission decided to come in.
And tried to dump us,
You
tried
remember
to
that
shut us
time?
down.
So I helped to get through the Burger Commission days, and then the public health director job came available, and Dr. Burke, who was the health commissioner at the time, came and talked with me about that, and I interviewed, and it was about 4.5 years ago. So I've been with the health department since July of 2008.
And Dr. Burke, quite a guy, does the job, I'll tell you. He's still he's the pro tem commissioner of health or something?
He is our medical director.
Medical director.
He's our medical director still for the health
And
department.
God bless Dr. Burke. Down in Long Island, where I was for many years for a job, there was a small manufacturing company that was making a bunch. And what they were doing is making little brass placards that say, "We do not accept Medicaid. We do not accept Medicare," because basically Medicaid has become detached from the real market, what doctors normally would receive. And when that happens, they won't treat you. You're dead in the water if you get sick. And now they're doing that to Medicare, and it's basically they're throwing the seniors under the bus with Medicare. They're in real trouble. You have to deal with these things, especially through Medicaid. I'm sure you have a lot of Medicaid services interaction. Many of your clients are unfortunately unable to, they're destitute. They cannot pay for these services. Now, tell me, what do you do in your position? You're the administrator, you're the director, or whatever it is. What do you have to do? What's your daily job? What do? You walk around, check all the hospitals, or?
I just sit in my office and close the door and cry all day.
Play solitaire?
I've got a total of about 380 employees now. And on the public health side of things, we're responsible for communicable diseases within the county, tracking, surveillance, follow-up. We also do, mandated to do sexually transmitted disease testing, immunizations. We run the family planning clinics within the county. We also have the entire environmental health division, which inspects the restaurants, sewage systems, public water supplies, rabies follow-up, that sort of thing. And now on the social services side of things, yes, it is huge. And
well, that's a monster. Yeah,
I'm still learning because it's a very, very complicated system that we have here. But people think social services and they automatically think welfare. And there's so much more to what we do in social services than welfare. You know, when you hear child protective services, that's part of social services. So there are many children that are placed in foster care, or we call them kids in care, who are become my children. We also are seeing adults now with protective services for adults that's under social services. We do administer for the state the Medicaid program. We have two parts of Medicaid. There's the administrative component where we have to do eligibility and determination of who can be on the program, and then there's a service side of Medicaid, which that was capped, and our growth was capped as far as what we have to pay as part of our local share in the county. Now that the state has gone and capped retroactively the amount of money the counties can get for administering the Medicaid program, and that went back to last April. Unfortunately, the state has not taken over any of those administrative duties yet like they are supposed to.
So we pay, right?
Anything that we go over top that cap on, we are going to be responsible for 100% locally. So we really are watching that budget very closely and hoping the state will come through as they promised in taking over those administrative duties.
Yeah, that's quite a bit of the cost of it too. You know, we're the only one of 2 states where the local
Yes.
county, which incidentally Chautauqua County is now historically, and I can give you some statistics, the most highly taxed county in the United States. It's murder in terms of percentage of income and so forth. And we're one of the poorest counties, and we have to pay theoretically half of all the Medicaid that the state is supposed to be paying. In other words, the Fed pays half, the state pays half, but the state said, well, let's let Chautauqua County pay half of the half, a quarter. So we have this huge burden of tax, costs for Medicaid, since we're a very poor county. Half of Medicaid being seniors, and we have the highest number of seniors, second highest number of seniors in the state in our county, and indigent people who can't afford to pay for it. So you have a job. I mean, especially when the state says, well, we're not going to pay for a lot of your other costs and so forth. Well, they've set the caps to theoretically make it impossible. Incidentally, the caps, this tax cap, is laughable because there's a loophole in it. All the county has to do in the tax cap is say, well, we don't want to do it, and that's it. They don't do it. They don't have to. They can charge whatever they want now. They increase the taxes 20%, 100%. In some jurisdictions, they went up 50%, and so...
Yeah, the legislature approves. The legislature has to move to approve to go over the 2% tax cap.
Right. And this is the legislature, not New York State.
The
Just your
local
local
legislature.
county legislature can say, hey, we don't want to go with that. And incidentally, locally, too, the village and town can do the same thing.
Yes.
And schools say, well, we don't like that, so we'll charge whatever we want. We'll increase the taxes whatever we want.
Well, unfortunately, the cost of mandates are becoming more and more expensive all the time. Those are the things that we have to do by law, we are required to do. So we're going to have to do them, and unfortunately, we're trying to stay underneath that 2% tax cap. Whether or not that's going to be possible in the future, I don't know.
Well, has the legislator already overturned that in Chautauqua?
In Chautauqua County, no. We've been able to stay underneath the 2% tax cap, so no legislation has been passed to go
Okay.
over that.
What do they do, draw from their bank account or use their credit card?
No.
Well, actually, what they do is they bond ahead, and they heard it first on Senior Reports. There's some enormous tax cuts coming, tax increases coming up. 2 of the very responsible members of our legislature have noted that we may be facing a 20% tax increase next year.
Well, we're going to work really hard to try to make sure that that doesn't happen, but unfortunately, we are in a deficit, and it's up, to all of us to tighten our belts as much as we can, but there's only so much you can do when you are mandated to do certain programs and certain services, and the local share
And
has
they
to pay
don't-
for them.
They don't give you the funding that they've mandated.
Right, and that's our job, to try to create as many efficiencies as we can, as for the way that we do business, and then, I think we've already shown that. This week, I was really happy to be able to formally announce to the staff of both the Department of Health and Department of Social Services that we have officially consolidated. There was a code revision made to the administrative code of the Chautauqua County Charter, which formally consolidates those 2 departments. So now I have the Department of Health and Human Services. I serve as both the Commissioner of Social Services and the Public Health Director. And,
Which has doubled your workload, essentially.
Probably more than doubled when you consider
you got to spend
social
more
services.
time in your office with the door closed.
Crying, yeah.
Crying.
It's a very exciting time, and I never would have taken on this sort of responsibility if I didn't think that we could make things happen. You have to be in a certain position to be able to make true systems change and policy change, and what we are looking at, not only in this county, but throughout the state and the nation, are some really severe issues, what we call the social determinants of health. You spoke earlier, nutrition, we've got poverty, when you're looking at the local economy and how all of those things factor into health outcomes. And we're not doing very well at that, with our infant mortality, low birth weight babies, those sorts of things. And if we actually can work together and look at all of the different social programs, health programs that are out there, how can we streamline things, work together? We're all dealing with many of the same people, many of the same populations, the same issues. How can we more effectively work together to solve them and prevent so many of the poor outcomes that we've seen.
Right, and you have one of the boogeymen of your healthcare services is the insurance company. We're the only company, only country, developed country in the world that pays insurance companies about 30%, they tell us, are creamed off to give us money back for our health care. It's the darndest thing you ever heard of. And you wonder why. Well, Congress got well over $100 million last year from the health insurance companies, and they're collecting about $1 trillion now, and it's insane. And here you are trying to insure us or take care of our health needs, and you're up against that, among other things. Not you personally, but everybody involved in this. So, Christine, I must say hats off to you for taking this on, and from what I've heard, it looks like you're going to be doing the job. It's a tough job, though. It's an almost mission impossible job to try to function within our budget. And it looks like they as you point out, you get these mandates, and then the state promises to pay for them and doesn't. So suddenly you've got to pay for it out of your regular budget, leaving you very little for your allowance for the things that are necessary. Big flu. What's happening in Chautauqua County?
Well, we've seen widespread flu activity in the county, just the same as we've seen throughout the state, and really throughout the nation. There's been a lot of influenza cases.
How the hospitals doing? You're an officer in the Westfield and the St. Vincent's hospitals both. What is happening? Are they being packed up like the other hospitals in the country?
They have been very, very busy. There've been a lot of ER visits and hospital admissions for influenza. I think I'm hoping are at the peak, and we're going to start seeing a decrease now in the influenza cases, but it's not too late to get vaccinated. We normally see a lot of flu starting now and through February into March, so it's definitely not too late to get vaccinated. And it's the best thing you can do to protect yourself. And the seniors out there, they really need the high dose of influenza vaccine to really make sure that they're protected. And every year, health officials are out there, your physicians are saying get vaccinated, get your flu shot. It's widely available everywhere. And now we've gotten into a very severe flu season, and people are scrambling to get vaccinated. The state health commissioner, Dr. Shaw, has issued a public health emergency regarding influenza, and has actually even changed temporarily the education law, allowing pharmacists now to vaccinate children. Normally they can only vaccinate those adults 18 years of age and older. Now they can vaccinate children, trying to get as many people vaccinated as possible.
Yes, and you use the word vaccination. Actually, there is a little spray they can squirt up your nose, too.
Yes.
I went in and I said, I dread needles. Please do the spray. So you're too old. They won't do it for seniors.
It's not indicated.
Older seniors.
Well, you need the high dose, too.
Yeah, okay. Here we are with
shot.
Christine Schuyler, who does the job for basically humane services, social services, health, and basically 90% of the government requirements in New York, under New York State law. She's taking care of them for the county. Well, we do have a dog catcher. That's another part, right?
You have your own dog catcher. I'm not going to do that part.
You don't even the county
unless you're worried about rabies. Then we'll get involved with your dogs.
Rabies, bad scene, huh? Incidentally, that brings up the factor, we might as well emphasize this, get your dog or cat or ferret or whatever animal you may have vaccinated for rabies. It's free every 3 years, you gotta do it. Yeah. Clinics all over the county where they'll do it for free.
And actually, we're very lucky. That's one thing in New York State. I know a lot of other states don't offer free rabies vaccine for animals. And we do have the clinics here really monthly throughout the county starting. We usually start out in March and go through November. You can get your dogs, cats, and ferrets
just bring them down. They do them for you. If you don't get your dog or cat vaccinated, woe to you if your dog bites someone or your cat even scratches someone. It could be that they had rabies. You may have to go down to the doctor. There's a fee. Sometimes your insurance will not pay it, I might add, for the rabies shots, which are painful and dreaded. And the rabies shots cost $2,600 today, and you may have to pay that. In the meantime, you're going to be sued. The person who did not have their dog vaccinated is going to sue you. You're going to sue him, and he's
Yeah.
it's going to cost him a lot of dough. There's also an immediate fine of pretty close to $1,000. You will lose your dog because they will kill him and open him up and check and see if he has rabies, unless you want to put him in a kennel for over a month, at which a horrendous cost, I might add.
Well, actually, we do a 10-day quarantine if you don't know for sure if the dog has been vaccinated. In order to check for rabies, though, the animal itself has to have its head removed and sent into the Wadsworth Laboratory in Albany, and the brain is where they check to see if the
Right.
rabies vaccine
Very serious
or the rabies virus
Well, you
is
know,
there.
Christine, the worst part about it is after they've sued the living you know what out of you for having a dog unvaccinated who bit someone or scratched someone, even a cat even, then you can be sued again by the spouse, because when you've had when you have to take the rabies treatment, you have 30 days you cannot have relations.
I can honestly say I don't know about that.
That's a fact.
But I can tell you that the protocol and the rabies shots are not fun. It is a series that you have to go through, and it is expensive. But local municipalities, meaning the county health department throughout New York State, are responsible to pay for anyone who can't afford to have the rabies shots. So that becomes a local cost to us if they don't have insurance and they can't afford to pay for the rabies vaccine themselves. That is a mandate, a
That's
state
good.
mandate.
And incidentally, the reason we're talking about rabies is there's a rabies run in this county. We have a lot of rabies. Incidentally, one of the funny things is you see all these dead coons around. Coons, 90% of them die during a rabies epidemic. Did you know that? They're always biting each other. Raccoons.
Oh, well, I mean, and really for humans to be at risk for rabies, they have to come in contact with the saliva of a rabid animal. So that's why we really are concerned about a bite.
Yeah.
And animals, there's two types of rabies. Either an animal can act very dopey, very sleepy, or it can be very aggressive and attack when being unprovoked. So those are kind of the signs of rabies
Now
that
keep your
you
kids
look
away
for.
from wild animals these days.
Well, and even domestic animals. We have had cases in the county where children have come across a cute little kitten out and brought it home, and it's very sickly, and we had the kitten that ended up being rabid. So.
Yeah, I saw 2 cats, as a matter of fact, were picked up last month in the county that were rabid, and it's a very dangerous thing. Okay, moving on, obesity. You just received a grant now from somewhere to someone for obesity. We have a phone call already? Okay, caller, you're on. We'll talk
Good
about
morning.
obesity.
Rather than talk about rabies and so on, I have a question for your guest, please.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure if this is under your jurisdiction or not, but we've been hearing a lot about folks with mental health issues and this whole business about gun control and so forth. What are the safeguards here in Chautauqua County for someone that perhaps has some mental or emotional issues, and how can the family help and the social services help in that? And I'll hang up and I'll just wait for your answer. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, thank you for your question. The county does have an excellent mental health service, and that's under the Chautauqua County Department of Mental Hygiene. Pat Brinkman is the director and does a wonderful job. We do have clinics in Jamestown as well as in Dunkirk. There is a mobile crisis unit there, and I apologize, I don't have the crisis hotline number on me, but we can get that for your callers so they will have it. There is an 800 number that they can call. They can get mental health 24 hours a day. There's a mobile unit that will even come out to your home or place of residence, wherever if there's an issue going on. And we are also fortunate enough to have some really good mental health providers throughout the county. Outpatient treatment, not just through the county, but also through WCA Hospital, through the TLC Hospital Lakeshore, and there's also private providers. Family Services of Chautauqua County is one of them. So there are resources out there, and I think sometimes it's the stigma that goes along with mental illness that stops some people from getting treatment, and that's something as a society we all need to work at getting over. It's okay, no one's embarrassed to say that they have high blood pressure or they have diabetes. Well, it's okay to say that you battle anxiety or depression or even something more serious like bipolar disease, or schizophrenia. That stigma's got to go away, because these people need help, they need our support, they need their family support, community support, just like someone who's suffering from a physical ailment.
There you go. And it's a military problem too. A lot of military are coming back with these horrible mental problems.
Absolutely.
And they're afraid to report them, that it may forever prevent them from, kind of follow them around. Like under the gun control laws that we just passed, they wouldn't be allowed to have a gun because they say, well, we have a mental problem here and he can't have a gun.
Yeah, and that is a worry with that I've thought about with the gun control laws, because I'm afraid people will be afraid to go and get help for something like post-traumatic stress disorder or other issues that they're afraid they're going to lose their firearm that's a hobby for them because they are dealing with even some crisis situation. But I'm hopeful that people will reach out and get the help who really need the help, because it's terrible. Post-traumatic stress disorder is awful.
Terrible. The statistics just came in this month. We have now the highest suicide rate in the Army than we've ever had historically, which is a sign of this problem. And 10% of our returning troops, historically, since Vietnam, have killed someone. 1 out of 10.
Well, many are killing themselves.
That's it. Part of this.
And that's what really is so sad, is the suicide rate that's out there. I mean, we're a country who's been at war for several years now, and there are a lot of troops that come back and really need the services. We do have the County Veteran Services Agency. We have a new director, Doug Deers, who's doing a wonderful job with helping our local veterans, getting them hooked into services that need it. And we're seeing younger veterans now than we've had. I mean, since World War II, or that. Now we really have some young people that are coming home that need help, they need support, and I hope that now they know where to turn and feel safe enough to get that help.
Yeah, I saw somebody reported they saw them taking a trailer down to the park, and it had Department of Office of the Aging, and on one end of it, and another door was the Veterans Agency, because they're cutting back on their budgets, and it's getting worse and worse.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's some really nice collaborations going on between the county agencies, and it makes perfect sense when you look at the Office for the Aging office, for say in Jamestown, being right next to the Office for Veteran Services, and then the Veterans Clinic federal clinic is right there as well. So someone can come in and get all the services that they need and get hooked up with the various resources that are out there.
It's all senior work. I was kidding about the trailer, incidentally.
They are working together, though. If you look at the office,
they are working together.
You'll see both in the same places as far as the offices go.
Right. It kind of reminds me of Unitarian Universalists, who had an office up in Boston, which is where it started, all of it, and it's a noted religion in this country. Thomas Jefferson and a lot of the older members of our Congress. They had an office which they shared. The office for the seniors was one office, and right there next to them, they had the other office, and the other office was for gay and lesbians. So they called it the gay and the gray. But combining offices is a good idea. Mm-hmm. You've just done that on a wholesale scale between the social services, welfare, whatever you want to call it, and the budget, which is Medicaid, Medicare, I guess, and any other funding that comes in for health services. It's one office now, right?
Yeah, one office. Yeah. Welfare is the part of social services that we call temporary assistance, and that's programs that help those that are in need, whether it be with cash assistance, rent. It's temporary. We start talking about employment the second people walk into the door. They do have to comply with all the state rules and regulations regarding looking for a job and getting to work. I've had a new director for about the last year and a half for the Temporary Assistance Division, Marge Bastille-Johnson. She's just done a wonderful job at changing some internal processes and improving what we do as far as the application process and eligibility, making sure that those who really deserve and need the benefits receive the benefits. That's what we're here for.
Yes,
but that also means making sure that people who don't qualify don't get on the system.
Yeah, the temporary services down in New York City have gone on for 3 generations in some cases. But do you know what they pay for the rent stipend down in New York?
No.
$200.
Really?
Really? Can you imagine trying to find an apartment in New York for $200?
No.
I don't know how they do it.
Well, New York City is a whole other world than the rest of the state, really.
It's crazy down there, isn't it? There's many people that, I said that incidentally, there's many people that just wonder how they manage down there. I don't know how they manage, whatever it is. We're doing pretty well up here in Chautauqua County, considering the stipulations, the mandates, the lack of money, the need. This is the biggest thing up in Chautauqua County. Tremendous need for these, for social services, for health care. We have the hospital. Now, how's that fit into your program? They're trying to sell the county home, which we've had in this county almost since the county was founded. It used to be a farm over in DeWittville, and they raised their own vegetables and potatoes and everything. And there was a place, though, always for indigent seniors who have no money, who are broke, mostly through health care in many cases, wipe them out, who have to have a place to go for their final years. We're selling it. Selling it. Now, do you want to comment on that? A lot of people don't want to have a word on it.
I mean, I guess the comments that I can make, the county home is a wonderful facility. Tim Helwig is the administrator there. It has been for several years, and he's done an excellent job out there. I think it's important, when you say that, our indigent elderly, really many of them then are qualifying for Medicaid, which Medicaid is an insurance program. It's split in many states, federal and state. In New York, it's federal, state, and local dollars that fund Medicaid. And I think anyone who operates a nursing home or long-term care facility will be participating with Medicaid. Now we're going to manage Medicaid. So I'm very hopeful that even if the county home is sold, we are still going to be able to have a place for those who are on Medicaid to seek care and receive quality care.
One of the things that concerns people is, of course, that the 80% of the people who are in the county home are on Medicaid. Most healthcare facilities severely limits the number of people who can go in on Medicaid because the Medicaid pays less than half, and they're trying to cut that back 10% this year of what private care is. So they basically take a big bite by taking someone in on Medicare. So we're concerned we may lose most of those beds. And again, what's a senior to do when they're needy? Well, we're sorry, there's a waiting list, and it can be 2 years, whatever.
Well, I am really confident that even if the county home is sold, that the new owners would still accept Medicaid and will take care of our indigent seniors. I think that's something that's been discussed at length, and I feel pretty confident that that will happen.
Okay. Christine Schuyler, bravely talking about the nursing home, which is up for sale.
I'm crawling under the desk now.
We have many other issues in the county. Again, you received a grant for obesity. What is obesity?
Obesity officially defined?
Yeah, what is obesity? Everybody says obesity. Well, there's somebody's overweight. I'm obese. You're not, of course, but a lot of people don't quite know what is obesity.
They really look at your what's called a BMI and where you're ranked on the chart, and it's a percentage of your body weight.
Oh, okay.
So how far over what the standard should be. And that's really the main determinant in looking at your weight. One of the main issues we have in our country is childhood obesity. And that childhood obesity is linked to so many issues through adulthood. When we look at diabetes is huge. And obesity is one of the main risk factors for diabetes.
Seniors, regular people, a third of America is obese, according to the record. Obese.
Yes.
I think they said something like 20% over your normal body weight would be automatically considered obese. You don't have to look at the size of someone's back end or belly or anything. If they're 20% over, they're ranging into the obesity range. And as you said, diabetes, big deal diabetes. We have a huge rise in diabetes in this country. Do you think that has to do with the obesity?
It absolutely has to do with obesity. Obesity, and we have become a society that's more sedentary. We don't get out and exercise as much as we should. Children aren't going outside to play as much as they should. It's more television and computer and that sort of time versus, when I was a kid, and I'm sure when you were a kid and had to walk 4 miles to school both ways uphill,
3
and
miles.
as my parents
whenever I acted out on the school bus, I wound up walking, I might add.
See?
Back then, if a kid was naughty on the bus, you stopped the bus and get out.
Yeah.
You try to do that today.
Oh, no, you couldn't do that today. No. But I mean, the lack of just physical activity is a huge issue with our obesity rates. Diabetes is one of those things where we are a society who looks at immediate consequences or immediate benefits. Diabetes is something that you can have for years and not know it, and even after you're diagnosed with it, because your toes don't automatically fall off, you don't realize if you don't take care of yourself, you don't keep your blood sugar in check, modify your diet, your exercise, and all of that, you're going to have a lot of problems down the road, whether it's heart disease, whether it's trouble with your circulation, and truly losing fingers, toes, as well as blindness is one of the consequences down the road for diabetes. So in our society of instant gratification, diseases like diabetes and heart disease, the consequences of smoking over the long term, those are things that we don't want to think about. Bad things like cancer that could happen to us 10 or 20 years from now. We live in the here and now, and we have to stop doing that. We have to prevent these things from happening. You look at our outrageous healthcare costs, so many of those costs are preventable, because if you prevent those diseases, then you're going to prevent those costs that are so expensive on the back end. Acute care is where we're seeing so much of the cost, not prevention. Prevention actually is inexpensive, but it takes some work.
Right, and it also you have to have a mindset. You've got to convince people they've got to prevent it. They've got to stop smoking, lay those weeds down. I had a friend who's dying of cancer. She was a heavy smoker. And this is years ago. She was in the hospital. Said, "Reed, get something for me." She hands me $1 at that time. Give me a pack of cigarettes. And I went down to the machine, which was in the hospital in those days, got her pack of cigarettes. What am I going to do? She died 2 weeks later anyway of cancer. It's a horrible disease, the smoking. It's hard to get off the smoking.
It's very, very addictive. Very addictive.
Very addictive. Christine Schuyler, health services, social services, humane services. We have a lot of other things going on in our county that we have to consider. You do have a dietitian, right?
For the county, yes.
Yeah.
We do have.
What's the dietitian do?
Our dietitian.
Eat lots of raw vegetables. What else?
What does the dietitian tell you to do, or what does we do in general? The county does contract with a dietitian to provide services for the Office for the Aging, looking at meal sites, meals that are served, making sure everything is nutritious, does educational programs, also does educational outreach for public health. And we have what's called our MOMS program, which is a Medicaid obstetric and maternal services. So for those,
slow down on that. The what?
Sorry, MOMS is the acronym for it.
MOMS,
and
M-O-M-S. Okay, and what's it do?
It's a prenatal program. It's for low-income women who are pregnant, and they are provided nursing case management, as well as dietitian services, social work services, with the ultimate goal of having the very best outcome that we possibly can for that mom and that baby. Low birth weight babies tend to have problems throughout the lifespan. Then they get into our early intervention services, special education services, developmental delays throughout life. The healthier we can have for our babies when they're born, the better off we're going to be. So the dietitian also works with these moms to educate them on healthy eating during pregnancy, getting them hooked up then next into our county WIC program for after the baby's born, so there can be nutritious food. WIC, Women's, Infants, and Children.
Okay, that provides healthy food, cheese, milk, eggs, I don't know, what's it giving?
Yeah, all of those things. It's a federally funded program. The county health department holds that program from the federal government, and we subcontract with Cornell Cooperative Extension, which is a wonderful fit because that's what Cornell does, is really nutrition education. And this program provides supplemental nutrition for women, infants, and children, hence the name. WIC. What I really like about that program is it has nutritional standards. And we look at our food stamp program, now called SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program.
It's now just a little card, isn't it? It used to be you had to come in and give us stamps.
And AFLA stamps. Now your benefits are loaded onto an electronic card that's used. But what used to be the food stamp program really has no nutritional standards. That's why people can go in and they have a certain allotment of money, but they can buy pretty much anything they want.
Beer and
as far as
tobacco.
no beer, no tobacco. But as far as food, I really would like to see nutritional standards put into place, because I think that's our responsibility.
No more
and-
potato chips, maybe real potatoes, you know?
Right.
Okay. Christine Schuyler, who is doing the job for the county in terms of about 3/4 of our budget, I guess. The Health and Humane Society, Humane
I don't do the
Services.
Humane Society.
Humane Services. Humane Society, well, they actually have a good one over Strunk Road. You know?
We do. We work closely with them too,
Yeah,
you know, on rabies stuff. But
Yeah, well, I have a cat I got over there. He's now 18.
good. Go
Benny.
get some more cats.
What's that?
Go get some more cats. They all need homes.
I had 5. I lost 3 in the last 3 years. But we still have 2. One's 18, the other's 14. And they're the sweetest things on earth. Cats are wonderful. I give them the shots. You know, you can buy shots for peanuts online.
I don't really think I want to go there.
5-way shots. They even send you a needle, and you slap it to them, and that's the end of that. And you can get your flea powder for nothing almost.
La 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 la. La 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 la.
Online. Well, you know, the interesting thing about it is the cat and the dog flea stuff you put on their back of their neck, same stuff. Even though they used to say, don't use on a cat when you buy the dog. And if you buy some for the cat, it was about $42 for the year, for the season. And if you buy for the 55-pound dog, it's $45. Same thing, just about $42, $45. So you just split it up, but you got to be careful not to give them too much. You know?
No, I don't.
And I do that.
I listen to my veterinarian on that stuff.
All right. It charges you through the schnoz. No, maybe not you. You have a certain amount of clout over there. I'm
Oh,
sure.
no. No special treatment.
$60 for the cat?
No, but
Oh, well, cats and dogs are wonderful companions, I must say, and everybody should have at least one of everything, you know.
of course.
I'm not sure about ferrets. They're kind of a weird little animal. But a lot
Some
of
people love
like
them.
Yeah, they do.
We've got a phone call.
We got another phone call. Good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting.
Good morning. I was wondering if that flea worked on your children.
I haven't tried it yet, but I might.
My question was, I wondered if there was a place on the internet that we could go and find more out about the Chautauqua County Health and Human Services, or if just had to come over to your office.
What about it? What are you looking for?
Like information on what they have and stuff like that, like an online brochure or something, at a website.
Yeah, and on the Chautauqua County government website, all of the departments are there, and because this consolidation is just in process now, the departments are still listed separately, but you can go online and go under the Department of Social Services, and you can see all of the programs that are there: temporary assistance, child support, child protective services, all the array of things there. And then under the health department, you can see all of, as well, the health department services are there, how to schedule appointments, how to bring in water supply or water samples, and all of that are there as well. Health department can be easily accessed under www.myhealthycounty.com, but all of it's accessible right underneath the county's main website.
What's the phone number if somebody want to get in touch with you?
With me?
Yeah.
Directly?
Yeah,
Then
there are
you-
a lot of people watching this. Incidentally, I will state this: most people are not watching it now. They watch it down the week, and it runs between 1 and 2 times every day, all over the county. And
That
that's-
means I've got to figure out how to delete it from wherever it's going to be running all the time.
But do you have a number they could call? If they want
Yeah, to get a hold of me at my office, you call 716-753-4590.
7534
4590. Now, if you have general health questions, or you want to schedule an appointment, or you need information from environmental health, there is an 800 number, and that's 1-866-604-6789.
Okay.
And that's on the website as well. You can see where the number is.
There you go. And now that everybody's
There's an
served-
email box. You can email social services questions. You can email health questions. So we try to be pretty
Pop in and say
open and
hello.
accessible. Yeah, stop in and say hello.
You play bridge?
I don't play bridge, no.
Yeah, you have a dog. What kind of dog do you have?
I do have a dog. It's a mix. It's
Okay.
a rescue dog,
Good.
From the Humane
Good.
Society.
If you
yes.
buy a pedigree dog at a dog shop, you kill a dog in one of the Humane Society places.
Yes, no, we've always rescued dogs. So,
Good.
and she's wonderful. Her name is Katie.
Okay, we have rescue cats all over the place. Most of
We
them,
have 2 of those too.
well, most of them come to our house to get rescued. they hang around. We have a cat trap. There's a real easy cat trap you can make for your window. You know those sliding screens? Mm-hmm. That's all you need. Raise it, put the screen in, and slide it over a little bit so that there's a door. And then take a piece of cardboard, slap it up with staples, and put a swinging door on it.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. You know, a couple of pieces of wire, and you got a hinge on your sliding door.
So what's your address? So we can just drop cats off and
That's what happens.
you'll feed them and take care of them, make sure they get their rabies
One
vaccine?
of our cats, Tiger, started coming in. He was a stray. They threw away 6 cats, one of the neighbors, when they moved. And Tiger came over one day and was hungry, all skin and bones. I fed him, and he was the sweetest thing, so affectionate. And found out about the cat trap and started coming in on his own. We took him to the Humane Society in Westfield, the stray cat rescue,
Yes.
which used to be the dog place. And after visiting him every week and giving him treats, he was crying and he was so sick and so sad and everything. We took him back and let him in. And then one day they found him dead in a snowbank at the bottom of our hill. He wandered. Everybody loved him. He was all over the town. Everybody loved that cat. People cried when they found out he died. We put up a little shrine for him even, and we buried him up in we have a cat cemetery up on the hill. We buried him up there with full honors, the whole family, and prayers and flowers and beautiful. We have a beautiful stanchion with his name on it and dates and everything.
Yeah.
Well, 6 months later, we come back from camping. Guess who's sitting on the couch across from where you all sat? There was Tigger.
Do you have Stephen King Cemetery or what?
We had no idea. So somebody said, well, it's a female. Tigger was a male. So we took him back to the Humane Society, this time down Strunk Road. They called back and said, it's not, it's a male. It's been fixed and everything. So we got a picture of him.
So Stephen
And
King wasn't there.
Sure, it was his face. It was Tigger. So we ran down, picked him up, another large donation. I was giving him a good donation. And long story short, too late.
Yeah.
But Tigger lived happily for many, many years with us, and
Yeah.
everybody was very happy to have him. And the question is, where was Tigger?
I don't know.
We figure somebody
With
who
Winnie
lost
the Pooh.
someone who lost the first cat thought Tigger was their cat.
Oh.
Took him in and took him 6 months to get out,
Probably.
because he was an outdoor cat. Finally, we're here, Schuyler. Chris, I just got this message in my little secret hearing things. Buds, that gives you 60 seconds or 30 seconds on your own, uninterrupted, to close off. Your time.
Well, I'd just like to thank everyone for tuning in today. And thank you, Mr. Powers, for giving me the
You can call me
opportunity to be
Reed.
here. Okay, Reed. For giving me the opportunity to come in and talk about some of the services that we provide through the newly formed now Department of Health and Human Services. Public health and the social services are, of course, they consume my life now, if you ask my husband, but they're such important services for the residents of the county, and we do our best to try to make sure that everyone who needs our services gets those services and gets them in an efficient and quality way.
Very big order, very big order. I thank you, Christine, for joining us. Will you come back sometime?
Sure.
There'll be changes in all these laws. We can talk about
They're
them again.
changing constantly.
Right. Christine Schuyler, who is the current head of the Humane Services in Chautauqua County. Chris, I thank you for coming, and I thank last caller. Sorry we didn't get a chance to get you on, but she'll be back. We'll do it again sometime soon. I want to thank the special people who make this show possible: Chuck Kelsey, Devin Taylor, Chris Burt, Randy Burt, Chris Ramaker, Jeff Zook, Don Zenz, John Hamels, not last but least. May all that is proud and true and noble abide with you. I'm Reed Powers.